Hey Sharks, it's Miss Luter. Welcome to week 2. Week 2, we're going to start unit 14, which is volume of three-dimensional shapes. So here I have cylinders, and these are just some cylinders that pop into my mind when I think of buying cylinders from the store. So like the first thing that always comes to my mind is the Pringles can, and this will be like the normal Pringles can that you buy from Walmart compared to the Pringles can that you'd buy from the dollar store. And then of course, like breadcrumbs come in cylinders. Sometimes you can buy tennis balls in cylinders. A lot of times you can buy cereal containers that are in the shape of cylinders. So yeah, whenever I think of cylinders, I think of containers from the grocery store. So to find the volume of a cylinder, just like we find the volume of many three-dimensional shapes, you're going to take the area of the base and multiply it by the height. Because remember, the volume is what makes up the inside of the shape. So first I want to find the area of the base and then multiply it to the height. And now I can find the inside of that shape. Being that cylinders have a base shape of a circle, so all cylinders will have a base shape of a circle. To find the area of the circle, we use the formula pi radius squared. So in order to find the area of a circle, you have to have radius. You have to have the radius identified and find the radius measurement, right? And then square that and multiply it by pi. So if I would write it in expanded form, I can say the area of a circle is pi times radius times radius. Basically, radius squared is multiplying radius 2 times. So sometimes you will see it this way, but I want you to think about it this way. Pi equals radius times radius, right? So first step is to find the area of the base, or area of the circle, and then multiply it by the height. So the formula to find the volume of a cylinder is pi radius squared times height. Volume is pi radius squared times height. But if you were to write it out in expanded form, we have radius squared, which means I would multiply the radius by itself 2 times. So in expanded form, I have pi times radius times the height. You ready to put it in action? All right, so here we are. Unit 4, Lesson 1. We have a cylinder. And here they're identifying the area of the base using the big B. Area of the base is a capital B. Height is a lowercase h. And the radius is a little r. Now remember, the radius is the measurement from the center of the circle to the outside edge. Different from the diameter. Remember, the diameter goes all the way across the circle. And the radius is always half of the diameter. Here, the diameter is not shown, but sometimes in your classwork and your homework, it will give you the diameter, and you have to find the radius. Going back through, the volume of a cylinder is similar to most three-dimensional shapes. You would basically find the area of the base and multiply the height. Being that a cylinder is a circle, we have area of the base. The circle is pi radius squared times the height. All right, so here they're asking us to find the volume of a tomato can soup. And they gave us the radius 3.5 and the height of 10.5. And the measurement is centimeters. So what information do you need to know in order to use the formula volume equals pi radius height? You need to know the radius of the cylinder, and you need to know the height of the cylinder. Remember, sometimes they'll give you the diameter, but you still have to find the radius. As long as you have the radius and the height, you are good to go. And here, the radius measurement is 3.5 centimeters, and the height is 10.5 centimeters. So now you know what measurements you're going to use to plug into your formula. And here's our formula. pi equals radius squared times height. Once again, we know that our radius is 3.5, so pi times the radius being 3.5, squared times the height. And we know the height is 10.5. All right, notice this question is asking us to leave our answer in the terms of pi, meaning our answer is going to involve the symbol pi. I'm not going to use 3.14 here. I'm just going to leave my number with the symbol pi. So you see pi is at the beginning of our formula here, and now pi is at the end of our formula here. Basically, all that means is that they've multiplied the height by the radius squared in order to find this answer. So, handy dandy calculator. Remember, if we did this in expanded form, 3.5 squared is 3.5 times 3.5 times my height, 10.5. And I get 128.625. 128.625. Oh, it'd be nice if it was typing. 128.625. 128.625 pi, so the volume is 128.625 pi. Nice. Once again, this question is asking us to solve for the volume, but leave our answer in terms of pi. That means the symbol pi is in my answer. If we were to take it to the next step and now round our answer to the nearest tenth, that means we have to take that 128.625 and multiply it by 3.14. So we're going to take 128.625, multiply it by 3.4, 128.625 times 3.14 equals 403.8825. 403.8825, but they want us to round our answer to the nearest tenth. Remember, the tenths place is considered like the dimes in money. The tenths place is the first 8, right? But the digit after the tenths place tells that number what to do. And because that is an 8, remember 5 and above rounds that number up. So now we're going to have 403.9. 403.9 is rounding it to the nearest tenths. And volume is a three-dimensional shape, so it is always the units cubed. Three-dimensional, so my exponent is 3, and my units here are centimeters. 403.9 centimeters cubed. Easy peasy. Let's keep going. Here they've given us the cylinder with a radius of 7/2 inches and our height of 20 inches. So we now have the radius and the height, and let's solve for the volume. Oh, here they want us to use 22 divided by 7 for pi. Why do they want us to use 22 divided by 7? 22 divided by 7 equals pi. 3.14285714285714328857. Continue. 22 over 7, 22 sevenths, is the fraction form for pi. All right, lots of fractions in this problem. Don't get confused. We can do this. The radius is 7/2. The height is 20. Height's right there. Height is 20 inches. All right, so if we were to use our formula, pi radius squared times height, but we have 22 sevenths for pi, our formula is going to look like Pi is 22/7. Okay, so far so good for all of them. The radius is 7/2. So we have to find 7/2 squared. That one right there. Times our height. Height is 20. Notice the difference between the first one and the last one. Last one they have 70. I don't know where they got that. Obviously that's incorrect. So our first drop down box I'm going to choose. And then it's going to ask us to square the radius. So if I were to do 7 squared, 7 times 7 is 49. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. So now I have pi, 22/7, times my radius squared is 49/4. But remember, my height is 20. And last but not least, we have to solve. So, to keep it simple for my brain, I'm going to do 49 divided by 4. Let's find out what that equals first. 12.5. So I know that the radius squared of my circle is 12.5 times my height. Height is 20. And then times pi. Well, I know pi is 3.14, so I'm going to multiply 245 times 3.14. 769.3. If I round that, I've got 770. Nice. Last but not least, task number 3. Task number 3, they've given us the volume of a cylinder of this huge container right here is 602.88 feet cubed, right down here. They've given us the volume, 602.88 feet cubed, and they want us to find the height. They want us to find the height. I think we're going to have to work our formula backwards. So, here we know that the volume is 602.88, and we know that the radius is 4 feet. Be careful, if they would have given you the diameter of 8, do not mistake a diameter for the radius. Always make sure you're using the radius in your formula. So, if I would write my formula expanded form, I've got pi times radius times height. And I'm going to take the information that was given to me and plug it into my formula. So I know the formula, I know the volume is 602.88 times pi times my radius, which is 4, times my radius, which is 4, and I have to solve for h. If I have to solve for h, that means I want to get h all by itself. In order to get h all by itself, I'm going to have to move pi times 4 to the other side of the equal sign. And if you remember during our equations, in order to move something from one side to the other, you have to do the opposite. So currently I'm multiplying. And if I do the opposite of multiplication, I'm going to divide. So now that's going to look like h all by itself equals the volume, 602.88, divided by pi. Oh, where'd my pi symbol go? Divided by pi. Here's my pi symbol. Get up there. Okay, pi times 4 times 4. Okay, so now I have a formula for the height. What did I do there? I took everything in this formula and I did the opposite. This is all currently multiplying, so in order to move it from that side to the opposite, the other side of the equal sign, I now have to divide. So I have my numerator, 602.88, divided by pi times 4 times 4. And we could put that in the